Hello all, Olin here. I'm going to be running through Secret Worlds issue 8 for you. This is the first issue that directly progressed the main storyline with the Venetian agenda sort of mission. There's not a lot to it. It's pretty simple. The basic focus of issue 8 is to provide sort of endgame-ish, kind of grindy content to folks. Used to be you had to run through a lot of it in order to progress with the main storyline. Thankfully, with the enhanced player experience patch, they drastically reduced the amount of times that the normal person just trying to get through the story would have to play through things. Um, and actually, in order to progress through the story, you don't have to purchase the issue. Um, they do offer a section of issue 8's content free to everyone. If you do want to buy it, however, it's here in the store over under content. So right there, I have it as listed as 0 because I'm a Grandmaster and I have these things set to auto buy. But normally the price is going to be 1,200 Funcom points, which is $10. If you're a member, that drops down to what, 10,080 points. So $9, and if you're a Grandmaster, the prices are going to be 960 points, which is $8. Now, if you even if you don't have the pack, so once you run through Transylvania's storyline, if you get back to Agartha here, you're going to get a call from your faction's handler telling you that you need to go meet with someone in Venice. So you need to meet with the Council of Venice, and that's right over here. There's a little fast travel portal from the end of the Transylvania branch on Agartha, but I always find the easier way to do it is just drop down from over here just to the left of the entrance to um, the Soul portal, and it's right here. This lore up here is an issue 8 lore item, and it's really annoying to get to. You gotta fall just the right way from up there. It's kind of a pain. And you need to travel to the Sunken Library, which is unfortunately all of Venice that we get to see. It's kind of neat, but you know, not quite the epic home of the Council of Venice that one might expect. This is my first time in here with this character. Um, so, travel to Council of Venice headquarters. Alright, couple. Oh, here we go.
Benvenuto. Your superiors told me to expect your arrival. They had interesting things to say about you. My name is Arturo Castiglione. Welcome to my city. Welcome to the Council of Venice. We stand in defiance to the dark days. We stand under the aegis of the lion's wings. Hello. Yes, of course. What? He assured me we have his vote. What? Recanted? Who got to him? Yes, it matters. If we do not have his vote, then we are in stalemate. We do nothing. Again. More people will die, and worse. What? Compromise. Compromise! Cazzo! Cazzo! Do not tell me compromise. Tell it to the dead. Do you remember the last time? The bodies. The ones still alive. The singing. Oh, that terrible singing. Committee, evaluate the situation. By the time we agree on a special committee, they will be dead again. Your committee can dig a mass grave and throw in all of their bones. And do you know what the tombstone will say? Killed by compromise. All right. Talk to him one more time. Show him the pictures we have. See if that sways him. Yes. Arrivederla. The city is sinking. The council is sinking. It is so heavy. The world still needs us. More than that, it needs people to believe in what the council stands for. We need people like you. I know your people are eager to go to Tokyo. But now is not that moment. We must prepare. I have a special room for you. You will train in this room. You will earn a special certification from the council. This is not bureaucratic drivel. The room will hone you. The room will test you. It will not be entirely pleasant. Quai nocent, saipe docent.
Alrighty then. So, yeah. So we need to complete a certification from the Council of Venice in order to make our way to Tokyo, unfortunately. And there's two ways to get this certification. One is to run through scenarios and get enough of a certain new type of currency. They're called I can never quite pronounce it. Aureus of Initiation. And used to need quite a few of those in order to progress. Other than that, you buy the side story pack. I forget which one. Hold on a second. So it is content. Yeah, the side stories further analysis content pack. If you do an investigation mission from that, you can buy the fake seal, the forged council seal from this rogue coder here for 1 million packs, which is a bit. Otherwise, you need to buy the official seal from, I forget which one of these two guys it is. Is it her? No, it is her right over here. Oh wait, no, it's just down. Right. So, right down there. Now, it used to cost 80 Aureus, whatever, of initiation. Oreos, people call them on the forums. Used to cost 80 of those to actually buy the seal. Now, with the enhanced player experience, they dropped it down to 1. You can actually even get that if you fail the scenario that you run through. Just so long as you complete at least one boss, I believe. So there is that. Now, scenarios are not necessarily the most all-around popular thing in the world. They're a little bit more difficult than the regular content. They're set little length, and they try and have a little bit of a randomization to them, but it can feel a little samey, unfortunately. Basically, what happens is you go to the console here, you select... Oh. Okay. Come on. There we go. The machine. Alright. So you get the mission, then you select which scenario that you want to run through, and then you go to like a little holographic room, like a danger room or something like that, and complete the mission. Now, there's only one type of gameplay at the moment, which is this sort of seek and preserve, which means enemies spawn in several waves. You have to defend some little survivors, and various little like bosses come. Sometimes there's a big enemy that pops up, snipers. It's a little crazy. The free players will only get, well, not the free players, but the players who didn't buy issue 8, they'll only get the hotel as a setting, which is the hotel in Egypt. The other options are the Franklin Mansion in on Solomon Island, and Dracula's castle over in Transylvania. Now, also, free players only have available novice, normal, and elite missions. In order to unlock Nightmare, then you need to buy the issue. Nightmare is on a separate timer. So if you have the issue, like there's an 18-hour cooldown for each one of these scenarios. So for each location, and there's an 18-hour cooldown for these three sort of lumped together, and there's another cooldown for Nightmare. So if you're geared enough, or if you have a large enough group, you can run two for each location. And I think there's actually a separate timer for solo duo and a separate timer for group. So theoretically, you could go 12 scenarios per day if you really wanted to go crazy with it. Now, for someone who's first running through here, has never done a scenario, the build you need to use is a little bit different from usual. I'd really suggest a melee and a ranged weapon if you're doing it by yourself. If you want to run it solo, you want to have some sort of self heal, and you want an impair. I usually like to build bring something that gives me a lot of threat, so I can normally the enemies when they spawn, they'll run directly to the survivors. So you want to have enough sort of threat, hate, whatever you want to call it, in order to make them focus on you instead of killing the people you're trying to protect. This character here is pretty fresh out of Tokyo. I've run her through all the previous issues content, so 5, 6, 7, which means I have the 10-1 epic head and neck talismans. When you complete issue 7, the Venetian agenda, you're going to get a 10.1 waist, and I have the 10.0 weapon. I do have a couple rares in here that I found from just random drops around the world, and I have a mix of attack rating, health, and heal. Not much heal, but I do have some. So I'm going to run through the hotel novice, because as I said, I'm not really sure how well this is gonna run. I've never run a scenario on a not horribly overgeared character, because by the time issue 8 came out initially, my main character had like mostly 10.1, 10.2 stuff, so I can run through scenarios pretty easily. Worth noting that if you want more of a challenge, you are not limited. Like, you don't have to be in a group in order to run a group scenario. You could theoretically run a nightmare difficulty group scenario by yourself. I am not well geared enough, and I'm not don't have crazy enough builds in order to make that work on any of my characters. But yeah, so here we go. Novice Hotel. I do also sort of want to point out,
Initiating world simulation.
scenarios have a very set pattern. There are 3 waves of enemies. So initially you show up, you have to start the scenario by doing a little very game-ish start button at the beginning. Then there's a couple seconds to sort of start up and look around. Then you need to go and rescue all the survivors, so run around the map and rescue all the survivors from groups of enemies spawned about the map. They run to one of 3 locations, and then you'll have the waves of enemies. Each wave lasts 5 minutes. There's 3 waves. Um, Enemies will spawn at a location. It'll either be 1 difficult enemy, 2 medium difficulty enemies, or a group of easier guys, which is why you want to have, a smattering of AoE and single target stuff. And then you'll have a boss. Hopefully you can take down that boss, and then sort of a random special event will happen. For Hotel here, and most of them have the same set of special events, there's either going to be some sort of hazardous weather sort of thing that'll reduce the visibility, and every time you're out in the open, you're going to get stacks of some sort of like debuff. And if you get to 10, you're going to be hindered, and it's going to spawn a specific enemy for you to fight. There's filth patches will spawn as another separate event, and they're mostly placed in really inconvenient spots that'll make you travel way around the map to go and save various survivors. Then there's a betrayal sequence, which means that a number of your survivors will turn into enemies and try and kill the rest of them. There's something called a relentless entity, which is a really tough monster. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to defeat it with this with the gear that I have on this character right now. And then my least favorite, snipers. Now, to be fair, sometimes the snipers, they're random. Sometimes they'll help you and they attack the enemies. Most of the time that I've ever seen them, they attack my character and they really mess me up. I've never quite gotten the hang of dodging them. It should be easy, but I just suck at it. And yeah, usually anytime snipers show up, I fail the scenario, unfortunately.
Spawn protocols engaged.
Ooh.
Hostile entities are on the move.
Ooh, did I get a... I got an ally sniper. That's fantastic. Look at that, they just completely mess up the enemies. It's so much nicer when they're not doing that to me. It really is. Yeah, so here, you use the start, and it sets up the holographic chamber as the hotel.
Welcome to this virtual training scenario. The Council of Venice would like to remind you that it takes no responsibility for accidental death, maiming, or insanity during the course of this exercise. This simulation is designed to prepare you for the pressures of a field career within the Council of Venice. Your actions will be judged and weighed, and your final score will be based on your ability to remain on mission throughout. As the scenario progresses, operators will adjust the variables to provide a unique, tailored experience. How you react to changing variables will be observed and cataloged. The Council wishes all applicants the best of fortune.
One day I'm really hoping that they're going to have, just even as a separate downloadable thing, separate DLC, different things that you can do with these scenarios, because it is a neat idea.
This is a seek and preserve
So there's
scenario.
several different...
Your role is to gather
So in this
groups of survivors
initialization
into
section,
45
there's
positions, and then
these little
keep
things.
them
This is
alive
where
for
the
next
survivors
2
are going to be.
hours. Your final score will
So
be based
you
upon
want to
the
sort of
number
run
of
around and
living
try and figure out
survivors.
where all the survivors are going to be.
The location is Egypt.
Okay. These little things
current
obviously
local
run
time
speed buffs.
is
There's
dawn.
also like healing, defensive, and attack buffs
You have
that'll
chosen to
drop off of
complete this
enemies.
scenario alone.
Alrighty, let's see how we do here. Alright, so far so good. Alright. I didn't really scout out as much as I should have. one of the reasons I like, I really do like blood as a thing for this is you can really use it with elemental force, and rather than doing a crazy little attack rotation, you can do, you know, 5 builders, 5 builders, really easily do 2 blood shots, and then your whatever your secondary weapon finisher is. And if you really wanted to, you can actually do some very nice damage with just your blood weapon, because you know you can do you know the 5 builders and then fire off 3 blood shots in a row, which actually nets yourself a pretty decent damage buff, depending on how far you have the your blood weapon unlocked. So the locations that the survivors will gather, obviously, right here, down right over there, and down inside the hotel. So right down in there. So yeah, right in there. And now I'm missing one, at least. Let's see if I can find it. And you can lose survivors in this little section of the battle, which is never a good way to start out. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but you never know. I'm not hearing anything. Oh, wait now. There we are. There it is. There we go. Now where else? Really? Okay. Ah, there we are. Okay. Yeah, that's obviously the damage buff there. Alright, now we're going to start the first wave, which, as I said, lasts for 5 minutes.
Additional hostiles spawn.
Which is...
Currently moving towards
So you'll see where they spawn on the map, and they'll run to generally pretty set locations. Although I will say, I find these... You can see they have little filth enemies that spawn every now and again, which I find really annoying. Because they just drop those stupid filth patches everywhere. Ugh. I'll probably just shorten this video for, you know, actual viewing, because no one wants to see just 20 minutes more or less of this, unless, you know, I was really witty, which, let's be honest, I'm not. So, just gonna skip through to the highlights. I'll probably put the whole thing up on my personal channel if you want to see it for some reason. I'm just gonna put a link. You can see me maybe fail horribly when the snipers show up. That might be fun. Oh, there we are. So yeah, this location tends to go to this group of survivors. There's the one over there which runs through and runs up the runs up to on top of the hotel. There's one that spawns right up there, which just runs down and inside. There is one that spawns inside, which just again runs to the inside group of survivors. There's one that spawns right outside the front door, which goes to the inside group. And there's one that spawns right out here on the edge, which sort of runs around and up the top. So, yep, there's the front door, guys. The crazy filth patches here tend to spawn like right at this back entrance, and or right up front. Whoa! What the? What the hell? That's not a normal thing. Oh, you know, if I'd been thinking, these scenarios are always a nice spot to use the time accelerator, because, you know, pretty much constant fighting for 15-20 minutes.
Initiating weather shift summary.
Ugh, blah.
Prepare for extreme conditions.
So this is what I'm talking about. These little spots you can see, they're scattered around the game, and they'll immediately knock off all of these debuffs that are popping up. In general, you want to sort of try and find the enemies and drag them to whatever. They'll also drop off when you're inside.
Hostiles have arrived. Protect the survivors.
Yeah, if you didn't notice while playing, enemies seem to spawn I think it's like every 10 seconds. So if I've been lucky enough and any of the Aureus of Initiation had dropped from those enemies, I'm not sure if they do from this really basic one. Probably doesn't. You probably need to go on just the normal. But it's going to give you 5 Aureus of Initiation if you complete it without losing any survivors, which, as you saw, I'm not doing anything special. I'm not using any gear that you won't be able to have yourself at this point in the game. So as long as you have a halfway decent build, this is nothing special, just something that I threw together. AoE, a couple single targets. Didn't even really need to use the self heal. You just need to kind of just keep the enemies off the bad guys. It's not that terribly difficult. And I'm now done. I can buy my token and make my merry way over to Tokyo. I would suggest if you're playing through to try and get a little bit more gear than just the basics, but you could probably survive okay-ish in Tokyo without. I'm gonna give it a shot after this. That's I may or may not be my next little video, is taking this character here, my dragon Ikube, through that first Tokyo mission, just to see how well she handles it on like the vastly different. She only has about 50% of the total skill wheel, and not really much in the way of auxiliary weapons, and no augments. Not that my main character has all that many augments to begin with. I'm not a huge fan of scenarios. I don't run them very often, and when I do, I mostly run normal or elite solo scenarios, so I don't have the best augments. Is it the Jinn? Oh no. It's that guy. Boom. Sorry. I like that big golem. He's fun.
Seek and preserve parameters have been met. Boss hostiles spawned.
Oh,
Adjusting
I got the gin.
survival chance.
The gin is fun. There we go. Let's see here. Dragon's finishing of that one. Hope your employers do not mind the borrow of their frequency to congratulate you. The machine is a modern marvel designed to challenge, yes, but also to teach and sharpen. I hope that you are paying attention to the lessons you are learning here. I hope that you are growing sharp as well. The Council will always have a use for sharp blades. The schematics for this particular scenario were provided by Amparo Osario. I believe you have met her in your travels, yes? Congratulations once again on your success. Arturo, the bastard. So yeah, remuneration of Venice. Those will grant you one little augment. Augments are a little bit weird. They're their own little separate wheel over here. Come in damage, support, healing, and survivability. So tanking. And they're basically little mini buffs that you can attach to your actives. And some of them sort of work across all of your skills, and some of them work on just specific skills. So like the damage ones, there's one that raises your attack rating for everything. There's one that raises your attack rating for just the specific abilities. Some of them will raise crit power, reduce evades for specific ones. The more crazy ones, like say the Grievous Augment Resonator increases damage for the specific ability by 5%, which is always a nice one for your consumers, but it's the really rare one. Going to cost you a lot of money if you don't run scenarios on your own. And I think these higher ones only really drop in the higher difficulty scenarios. Support ones are a little bit strange. There's they go on abilities and they will like reduce cooldowns and heal when you use them. I don't know, it's a little strange. Survivability ones give you better defensive abilities, reduce damage taken, increase hate generated by specific abilities. Healing ones obviously increase your healing potential. It's nothing crazy. And you can see which types of items can be equipped on which skills down here. So, also, I've always found this one really funny. It just looks like Simon. Do you remember the Simon game? You know, the old ones. It was the same colors, same sort of layout. Anywho, so let's finish up the Venetian agenda here by buying the seal with one of the five Oreos that I bought, or that I won, and there you go. Return to Arturo, Castiglione, who is over in his office right here. Wait, no, right around the corner. Sorry. Which you also go to for issue 9 stuff.
Nothing. No sign. I don't care how treacherous the subway is. Keep looking. I will tell you when there is no hope. Arrivederla. Ah, you return. A little wiser. The room is a vicious teacher, no? It looks into a person and inflicts just the right game to test that soul. The room knows. Do not misunderstand me. You were most impressive before the room. But what awaits you in Tokyo will not be solved purely by raining down fire and force. It will require discipline and good judgment. The room tells me you have these things. And so, By the seal of Venice and the terms of the contract, I grant you certification. You are not beholden to us. Your handlers would be upset if we presumed so far. And yet, we hope you will carry the Council's mission into this dark world. Before you go, allow me to give you this caution. Be on your guard. I still believe in the mission of the Council. We must all work together, yes, but that does not mean we must turn our backs blindly. No one is above suspicion. Not anymore. In Cavda Venenum. What news? No sign of her. Not even a trace.
You are needed. Tokyo is open and the conditions for entry are primed. Come to me in Seoul. There are things we must discuss.
Alright. Just in case you're wondering, this this jacket thing I have on is April 2015's little subscriber item of the month. Each faction gets their own faction-specific esports jacket, and given that the scenarios are basically sort of live video game within the world, I figured it was kind of appropriate to wear. You know. So you can kind of see why people really got annoyed by scenarios. They're fine every once in a while, but with the 18-hour cooldown, you would have needed to, with the old 80 areas of initiation that you needed for the seal, you would have, if like that scenario that I just finished was the most difficult one that you could complete on your own, it would take you over 2 weeks to actually progress, which, I mean, when you think about it, it's not bad to have like time before you can progress, but at the same time, it was 2 weeks of the same exact mission over and over and over and over again. You know, there's a little bit of variation there, types of enemies, the little events that can happen, but yeah, it felt like a little bit of a grind, because it really was. Forcing people to play through so much of what was supposed to be like an end game sort of thing. And initially, that easier difficulty that I just ran through wasn't even there. There was a slightly more difficult version, which I'm probably going to give a try at some point on this character. But yeah, it's worth noting you can also buy waste talismans, 10.1 waste talismans with your Aureus of Initiation, just like you buy head and neck talismans with your credits of Ka Doro, or however you pronounce that. What, you didn't really want to see me for some reason? I thought you said, hey, come and visit. Okay. Send report. A Venetian fisherman once pulled a locker from the bottom of the ocean. He couldn't open it, so he enlisted the aid of a locksmith. The locksmith pried it open and was disappointed to find that it was full of waterlogged magnetic tapes. Together, fisherman and locksmith paid some local boys to dump it again. Paid in advance, the boys sold the tapes as ribbons to unsuspecting tourists during the carnival. When our model was updated with the tape fragments that we received, it read as such. Yeah. Our models indicate that you have almost certainly returned from the machine with memory and personality intact. If this is not the case, please disregard future communication. So my general thought for this character, to just do relatively rough all-purpose sort of build is I'm gonna do attack rating talismans down the center here. Gonna do one uh, gonna do one health talisman. I think I forget if it's issue 9 or 10. One of them gives you one of them gives you the other, I believe. So I'm gonna do health for one and then heal rating for the other. Probably gonna do when I can attack rating in one of the bottom left, bottom right, and the other one's gonna be heal rating. That's just my general thought. So main focus on attack, a little bit of survivability, and a little bit of health. Theoretically, that should be good enough to keep me alive and going. Castigating chain. I believe you can also buy a special signet for the castigating chain that increases all damage by, I believe, 1.5%, which is fairly nice. Just like you have one that you can buy for the neck talisman from issue 7 that increases your your hit rating by a pretty decent chunk. Or sorry, your attack rating by a pretty decent chunk. So yeah, there we go. I think I'll actually do the preludes and intrigues bit here for you. But once that's through, I am done for the evening. Where am I supposed to? It's here, right? There we go.
Why won't you let me see? I am the voice. Is this about the connected? Takeru? There are anomalies in the system. Have you been contacted? What's in a name? Does this mean anything to you? Never mind. Tokyo has never made sense in any model. It was unpredictable, it was chaotic, and the repercussions were felt around the world. If I didn't know better, I'd suspect the dragon. Our entire model relies on those initial variables. You know, the what, the when, and the where. What we need now are the who and the why. We had allies in Tokyo before the explosion. A branch of the Yakuza with a racket and pachinko machines. You might be able to use their help. 3 is a lucky number for members of the dragon. There is a system forming in Venice. Initial conditions suggest that if it plays out as expected, everything in the secret world will change. You are quickly becoming our favorite variable. Go to Venice, on your way to Tokyo. Everything can change. Everything will change.
Alrighty, travel back to Venice. I'm gonna change into my more normal outfit. That's what I'm normally wearing on her. Because, I don't know, I think it looks cool. Okay, so back to where I just came from. Seoul to Venice, well, Venice to Seoul to Venice. Thankfully, I don't have terrifyingly long plane rides. Oh, Agartha. If only I could really use you. So many cool places I would see. Of course, there's the whole filth thing there, so that would probably not be all that cool, but you know. I just wish I could travel and see the world without having to fly coach. Because I'm sorry, if you've ever flown, 12 plus hours in coach, not fun. Okay, back to the sunken library. Which, seriously, who's taking care of this library? I mean, there's bookshelves just falling everywhere. I mean, come on. There's a whole bunch of people walking around everywhere. Why would you not just pick that up? I don't get it. Go to Arturo's office. Oh, right. It is worth noting, if you're having difficulties in the scenarios, like if you wanna run that easy one, and then you're enjoying it, you like the idea, but you're having a little bit of difficulty in the next level up, you can actually buy stuff from the rogue coder here that help. They do, however, cost the Aureas of Initiation, so take that for what it is. The turrets are kind of nice. You can set them up near survivors. First aid kits will heal other survivors. It's kind of nice. I don't really use them very much, but then again, as I mentioned, I don't. What in the world? Young civilians. I don't really run scenarios much, so might explain that. I want to enter his office. Nicest looking thing here. I mean, really.
Latet unguis in erba. Come in, quickly. Were you followed? Did you see anyone up there? It used to be simpler. When you are young, the heroes and villains stand out. They are so much easier to identify. White hats here, black hats there. When you get older, it is not so easy. The years devour your eyes. You lose your way. Right and wrong. Do you even remember what they looked like? You grope your empty sockets for them, crouching in the ever-dark, afraid to call out, Marco, because you're afraid of the voice that whispers, Polo. Someone is watching me. Even here, in the stronghold of the Council, nothing is safe. I am in the dark. I cannot trust anyone close to me. But you are not close, and so I choose to risk trusting you. We have important matters to discuss, but I dare not while these invisible eyes and ears hang over us. Search these fallen halls. Find my malefactor. Then we can talk more. Remember, trust no one.
I still think realistically he could have ended that with, trust no one, Mr. Bond. Alright, so that is the start, and now we officially start issue 9 content. There will be eyes in the walls, there will be a sad effigy, you will have to decide between execution or technical forgiveness, enjoy or stay in Venice. I think I shall. Alright. So folks, that was issue 8. Yeah. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but it's not horrible. I can see why people would like it. I can see why people hate it. Is it worth $10? Well, you don't need it anymore, so it's really only really worth it if you really want to max out your character and play with this augment system. And even then, you don't need um, issue 8 to do that, because you can buy all of them on the market. They just cost absurd amounts of packs, like millions and millions of packs for those, and each one has 5 levels. So unless you have a lot of money, uh, you're probably out of luck there. Um, Also, you can buy a couple other things with those Oreos. You can buy the other waste talismans that you didn't have. Each one has their own little special signet. And you can also buy a complete set of Council of Venice gear if you like the look of the Council of Venice folks. So, yeah, there you go, folks. Till next time. Later. Enjoy the secret world.